friends, welcome to part 9 of the Revelation prophecy. This one is called The Final Signs. Let's begin in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. The sun becoming black, and the moon becoming as blood red, losing their light. Jesus placed these signs in the heavens to occur at his second coming. Turn with me to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then in verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The sun and the moon losing their light, being darkened right at the point of the second coming of Jesus Christ. Revelation chapter 6 verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. The sun and the moon going dark, and the stars falling onto the earth. And the way it fell, John described it as green figs, untimely figs, being thrown off the branches by a mighty wind. Isaiah also spoke about the falling stars. Isaiah chapter 13 verse 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. Like the sun and the moon, they will not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And then in verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Right at the point of the second coming, the sun, the moon, and the stars losing their light, and the time has come for the wicked to be punished. Back to Revelation chapter 6, verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. A scroll is the wrapped up parchment, a book that's wrapped up in a scroll, and to open it, you take the two edges and you stretch it out, and if you let it go, it so disappears, departs. And likewise, John said, the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. A great earthquake that will affect the whole world. Every mountain and island will be moved out of their places. So these final signs that take place at the second coming of Jesus, the sun and the moon and the stars losing their light, the heavens departing as a scroll when it is rolled together, and a great earthquake that moves every mountain and island out of place. Isaiah also spoke about the heavens departing as a scroll. in Isaiah chapter 34 verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. The stars, everything in the heavens will be dissolved. And the heaven shall be rolled together as a scroll. And all their host shall fall down, that is all the stars, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Back to Revelation chapter 6, verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men and the rich men, and the chief captains and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens, in the rocks of the mountains. The wicked will be driven by great fear to hide in what they think is the most formidable place. They seek security in the rocks of the mountains. Isaiah spoke about that in Isaiah chapter 2, verse 10. Enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty. Verse 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of man shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Verse 12. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low in the day when God will punish the proud, the wicked. Driven by great fear, they will hide themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Revelation chapter 6 verse 16. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. The most terrifying thing to the wicked will be the presence of God and the wrath of the Lamb, the Lord Jesus Christ, at the time of the second coming, when he will punish the wicked. And the wicked will be driven by so great a fear that they would rather die than be exposed to the presence of God and the wrath of the Lamb, for they ask the rocks to fall on them and hide them. Then in verse 17, the question, for the great day of his wrath is come, who shall be able to stand? Who will stand at the second coming? Who will stand when Jesus will come? That is the question. What an important question. A question to consider, to seek, and to find the answer. Who will be able to stand? And questions in the scriptures and in the book of Revelation are never asked unless the answer is given. And in chapter 7 will be the answer to the question, who shall be able to stand?